show in the Idaho Today kitchen with Chef Christina Murray. You know, Chef Christina, I think all too often families this time of year really sacrifice having a healthy option versus a convenient option. But I know today you're actually going to be kind of marrying both, and you're also kind of sneaking in a veggie into this dessert, right?
Right.
Yes, so, I love it. So what are we making?
So today we're going to make faux apple crisp, but we're going to make it with zucchinis instead. And so when I used to work at Boise Urban Garden School, we had zucchini explosions.
Yes.
And I hate zucchini personally. So I had to figure out a way to make it to where I wanted to eat it and all the kids wanted to eat it as well.
Yes.
So I created this recipe. And so what you want to do is you start off with seeding and cubing your zucchini in really small pieces.
Okay.
They all need to be uniform, otherwise you're going to get al dente pieces and mushy pieces. Okay. So make sure knife skills are very important with this one. You start by sauteing the zucchini with some lemon juice.
Okay. And as mentioned, making sure that they're all the same size so they cook at the same rate, right?
And then we're going to use arrowroot starch as a thickener, or you can use cornstarch as well. Both of them are gluten-free. And that's another great thing about this recipe is you could actually sub out every single ingredient that we're going to talk about.
Okay, and so you can modify this to whatever dietary needs that you have. So like if you're lactose intolerant like me, maybe you need gluten-free options, this is something that you can easily tailor.
Yep, so you can make it gluten-free, dairy-free. It's free of all the allergens if you sub everything out like I'm about to talk about.
Wonderful.
So a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, and then this just needs to get sauteed for about 5 minutes until it slightly softens. I've also done it without seeding it, without peeling it, and just baking it straight in the oven, and I don't think that the texture changes that much either.
Oh, great.
So you can cut out those things, right? So then we're just gonna add a little bit of white sugar, and that'll help kind of thicken it and sweeten it as well. And then just stir that together.
So you'd be cooking all that down.
Yep. And so sometimes if there's too much moisture, like Daniel was saying, if you let your zucchini go till it's like this big, then there's lots of seeds and moisture in the middle of it. So you might have to pour out some of the excess moisture before you pour it into the pan.
Got it.
So, all right. So then once this is kind of softened, then we just want to pour that in here.
So you put it into like a nice little like baking pan, kind of like what you would do with an apple crisp, right?
It's very, very, very similar to the apple crisp. If you want to layer the crumble on the bottom to make layers, you can do it that way as well.
Oh,
but
fun.
I just put it on the top, but it plates better if you put the crust first and then the layer of the zucchini and then that, but I don't care if it's like that because you just top it with some
yogurt good in a bowl
whipped cream,
to me,
and it's good. All right, so for the crumble, what you want to do is cube up some butter, make sure it's cold, and then you just add a little bit of flour.
Okay.
For the allergen-friendly one that I prepared, I used cup for cup. That's a really good gluten-free flour that you can use.
Okay.
A little bit of brown sugar. And then the difference between a crisp and a crumble or a cobbler is the addition of oats. Okay. And so I like to add oats just because they're healthy.
And that's more of a crisp, so a cobbler would just be just flour
without
and
the
butter.
oats, yeah.
Got it, okay.
And then you just want to cut this together until it's in small pieces.
All right, and then you are using a cutter. Can you use a fork or?
2 butter knives. So I actually didn't bring any, but you just crisscross motion.
Got it.
Or you can actually just use your fingers.
Okay. Got it. And so you want it to be kind of like that crumbly texture.
Yeah, because the butter will dissipate throughout it, and it'll moisten all of the flour and all the sugar and stuff that's in there. So then I'm just going to add a little bit more flour.
And what size do you want the butter crumbles to be?
You want them to get into a little bigger than pea size.
Pea size, okay. And while you're doing that, though, you love to teach recipes like this and so much more at your cooking school, Season and Taste, right?
Right.
Okay, but you're actually opening a second location.
Yeah, so we actually started teaching classes in the new space. So the other space was at 8th and Main in the Idaho building, and this space is in the Zion building on the 2nd floor. Okay. So we went from 600 square feet to 2,100 square feet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, because I know the first one, we've been there, we've been lucky enough to be in your space here on Idaho Today, and that space is, I mean, it's cozy, it's quaint, and it's a fun location, but nice to know that you finally have some room to kind of spread out and accommodate more people, because quite often your classes would get really full.
Yeah, so now our occupancy is 49 people.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm not doing that because I want intimate cooking classes. And when I started my business during COVID, it was for everyone to eat around the table, which didn't work very well during COVID. So now we have a grand community table and our classes are at 16 people.
Nice.
Yeah, so everybody eats around this big table and stuff. And we're doing fine dining events and corporate events for up to 40 people during the holidays. So big chopped cooking competitions and stuff.
Oh, fun. Love it.
So anyways, for this, then you just cover the top, toss it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes, and then it turns into that.
So that's super easy too. And I mean, this time of year, like you'd mentioned, lots of bumper crops out there with zucchini. A lot of people make zucchini bread, zucchini boat, zucchini casserole. Here's a way to actually incorporate it into a dessert. Do you mind if I take a bite?
Of course.
Okay, you're like, of course, Mellisa. And as mentioned, you made a dietary modified one. Myself, lactose intolerant, but this also incorporates too some gluten-free flour, right?
Right, so it has gluten-free flour and coconut oil instead of butter to make it so it was dairy-free for you.
Oh, dang.
So I just swapped out the butter for coconut oil. I melted it and then drizzled it over the top.
This tastes like fall. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Chef Christina. We love it. Everyone, make sure you check out Season and Taste. We got to have you back because I know you got more up your sleeve too for the holiday season.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to have this recipe online for all of you, everyone. And are you going to include too the modifications if needed?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Stick around, a lot more to come right here on Idaho Today right after the break.